Good evening and welcome once again to Ideas at Work and Beyond. As you know, during this portion of the show, I start off with a little rant, something that's been on my heart for the week. And today I just want to talk ever so briefly about a tale of two cities. Socialized medicine in Canada and private sector medicine that we have in the United States. I tweaked my knee. It felt bad. I played hockey on it a couple times. It felt even worse. And I finally said, you know, I need to go get my knee taken a look at. Someone take a look at my knee. So I went to Danbury Orthopedics over there on Sandpit Road. The guy looked at my knee. Probably 2 minutes later, I had an X-ray. He looked at the X-ray. He said, why don't you go across the hall here and get an MRI done on your knee. I had an MRI done on my knee. He called me later that day and said, you know what, you have a torn meniscus. Now, for those of you at home, I brought photographs. I don't know if we can get a close-up of this, but this is my torn meniscus here. Now, for some of you, if you're finishing dinner, you might want to just go ahead and finish dinner. But there it is. There's my torn meniscus. The meniscus is basically the sort of shock pad between your two bones in your knee. So there it is. It was torn. Kind of looks like a fish hook there. And then the good doctor went in there and snipped it out, and now I have a perfectly clean, wonderful meniscus, which is right down there. The pictures don't really matter, but there you have it. It's cleaned out, and it's a wonderful thing. What's my point? Why am I showing you pictures of my inner knee taking up this important airtime? I'll explain why. I have a brother-in-law in Canada. I checked the dates with my wife before I was coming on air. Last November, he went to the doctor for a checkup. They found some sort of like growths or tumors, small little tumors on his liver. They didn't tell them, this is socialized medicine. They didn't tell my brother-in-law about this. He saw the doctor in November. They didn't get around to telling him what they had found until January of this year. And unfortunately, they found out that it was cancerous. And then he found out in January it was cancerous. He didn't have an appointment with a doctor for another month. The doctor says, yes, it's definitely cancer. We're going to have to go after this aggressively, but we don't have the equipment, and we can't make an appointment with a, what's a cancer doctor called?
A doctor.
A doctor that treats cancer. It's a special doctor. We can't give you that until the middle of March. So here's my brother-in-law, God bless him, 7 kids, wonderful guy. He gets a diagnosis of liver cancer, and a whole half year has gone by before he even ever gets treatment. I have a little tweak to my meniscus in my knee. I get an MRI that afternoon. I had this thing taken care of yesterday with microscopic scoping surgery. That's what our healthcare program is. Now, I know there's a lot of support for socialized healthcare. Let the government take care of it. But the Prime Minister, or whatever the head of Newfoundland, which is one of the provinces in Canada, he had heart trouble. He flew down to the United States to get his heart to look at. We have problems with our healthcare system. I'll grant you that. We need to open it up to everyone. I understand that. But before we go having the government run our healthcare and fall into difficulties like Kevin Brown from Guelph, Ontario did with his diagnosis with liver cancer, and you compare that with my quick, super good, super fast healthcare regarding my knee, we need to think long and hard before we turn over 1/6 of our economy, our healthcare system in the United States, which isn't perfect, but it's pretty doggone good, until we turn it into something like they have in Canada. Okay, that's the rant for the day. That's just what I've been thinking about. I have to do a little bit of a warning, too. The surgery was yesterday. There's my new best friend in the world is Mr. Vicodin, and I took a few of those before I came on the air, so I just want you to know if I sound a little more loopy than I normally do, that's the reason why. You might not notice any difference at all, which is frightening in and of itself. Okay, this evening, we wanted to do a show, and Al Robinson had a hand in this, and David Sorrow, and everyone on the team here at Ideas of Work and Beyond. We wanted to do a show on Haiti. And as you know, Ivan Al-Sami, the originator of this program, the founder of this program, is originally from Haiti. At present, he's getting his PhD at Howard University, and he's going to be calling in later in the show. But he helped us line up 2 students originally from Haiti. One student that's going to be calling in, Leo, at 9:20, he was actually in Port-au-Prince when the earthquake happened. He was actually there and is going to give us an up-close and personal account of what happened. And then there's another young lady who will be calling in who has a lot of family members there and knows about exactly what's going on in Haiti. And then on top of all of that, we have in studio Odella Ritter and Mara, help me with the last name?
Profito.
Profito. And you're from the Western Connecticut Regional Adult Continuing Education Program. And tell us what you're doing in response to Haiti and what's happened there.
Well, what we did was, actually we've been working for the last 3 years collecting food for the local homeless shelters in Danbury. And when we heard about the earthquake on January 12th, we decided that we needed to do something to help. I know a lot of people were sending money, and that is what they told people to send, but we decided that we don't collect money, but we just decided we were going to collect items to send over there. So maybe Odelia, who's one of the students in the public service class, maybe she can explain to you a little bit about what we're doing, how we collect the items, and how we eventually plan to get them over there to Haiti.
Please do. Odelia.
Yes. So what we're doing is going to different stores asking for donations.
Okay.
If they can do that. Or she'll have us go out, and if we can get little items at a time and put them in a care packet and make a couple of those and add them up so that we can send them over to Haiti.
I don't know if we can get a close-up of this. It has easy wipes, razor blades, just toiletry items that they're sending. Now, how are you getting these items actually to Haiti? How's that working?
Well, this is what we're trying to figure out now. I mean, hopefully we're going to be collecting from now until the end of May. And hopefully we can collect enough items that, by the time we get maybe 300, 400, 500, maybe 1,000 of them, that somebody will help us get them over there.
Okay, so you're kind of pre-packaging them. I mean, this is very user-friendly. It's something that can be distributed widely in Haiti, and then when you have sort of a critical mass, then you're going to work on trying to get them over there.
Right, and basically the other thing we did was we actually had somebody bring in a little label maker, and we put them all in French.
Oh, that's
because I know that we don't speak Creole, I don't, and no one in the class does, but French. So we translated everything into French so that maybe they could understand.
Now, your class did something too a year or two ago with food, right? You raised canned goods and so forth as well.
Food. So far, we did 3,400 pounds.
Okay.
And we collected it. All the students every Friday we meet, and we've been doing it for, this will be our 3rd year. And so we keep track of everything in our little book here, and we weigh everything, and we send it over to the homeless shelters, Salvation Army, the Danbury Shelter, Dorothy Day, and we also Shelter of the Cross for the 55 and older. So about 3,400 pounds so far. Wow. So this is a continuing program.
Very impressive. I'm just interested. What are you studying in school? What are your aspirations?
Well, I'm finishing. I'm still in high school, and I don't know what I want to do after high school. Well, I'm not. I'm into music. So I'm thinking about maybe doing something in that area.
All right, well, very interesting.
Don't be shy. She's a very good singer.
To be honest with you, not that many people watch this show. I mean, besides Al's children at home and a few other people, there's not that many people watching.
Thousands of people on YouTube.
Lots of people, yeah. No one's okay. I did, as I'm recuperating, sitting with my new friend, Mr. Vicodin, in my house with my knee up and my leg. Not that you should try that at home. But I had a chance. I went through my TiVo 60 Minutes, and they had the thing on the earthquake in Haiti and what went on, and I was literally brought to tears. It may have been the Vicodin, I don't know. But what's going on in Haiti is just horrific. The death toll now is up to 230,000.
Wow.
The earthquake itself on January 12th was 7 on the Richter scale, which was a very powerful earthquake. But what was stunning to me was if you think back to the earthquake that happened, what was it, I want to say 89 during that World Series.
I don't-
89 World Series. San Francisco.
Oakland.
It was exactly as powerful as the one in Haiti. In Haiti, they had 230,000 people die. Somewhere upwards of 3.5 million people were affected as a result of that. In San Francisco, they had 63 fatalities. The same density population, the same impact as far as the magnitude of the earthquake, yet the death toll and everything else was so different.
I know.
I think that's one of the, and we have some pictures too of what's going on in Haiti. I think that's really part of the tragedy. Al, what do you get from that?
I think we talked about it a little while back about the whole thing in Haiti. It's the most devastating thing about what happened over there is, unlike the United States, and I think Marty elaborated on it a little bit with the low death toll back in 1988-89, is that the earthquake wasn't the biggest problem. It was just the way the buildings were set up in that area, and just the lack of proper building created a situation where these buildings are just like sandcastles, and it just tumbled over, just tumbled and tumbled and tumbled, and because of that, you just had widespread destruction on a scale that we just can't imagine.
It's frightening.
Yeah, so I think it's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing here, because I know every little bit can help over there. They can use everything, because you have a country over there that just basically looks like a nuclear bomb's hit it.
I know. I've been looking at the photographs and the pictures, and it's pretty incredible as to what it looks like.
Right.
And it only lasted for how many seconds?
Just
And-
under a minute, 30 seconds at the most.
And it was unbelievable how much damage could be done in 30 seconds. So that's the frightening part about it.
Yeah.
We have a caller on the air. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
All right, help me with the pronunciation of the name one more time, because I have Roberta, but I'm or Roberte, but give it to me.
So, it's Robert Exantus.
Okay, and you are from Haiti. I know we have a picture of you we can put up. And first of all, you know Ivan Halsemy, is that correct?
Yes, that was my speech professor from...
Now, I know I'm going down a sidetrack, but how is he as a professor? Is he an easy grader? Is it a difficult class? What's Ivan like?
I must say, I learned a lot. I mean, that's why I'm such a great speaker today.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, tell us a little bit. You're from Haiti. You have family there. What was their experience when the earthquake hit?
The way my father describes the experience is very... He doesn't really have words. A lot of times when I ask him to describe his experience and what he's seen, it's always very overwhelming, especially if you see so many dead people, so many dead bodies, and the smell of basically death. It's like everywhere you go, you smell that there's something wrong. And he says that rubbles everywhere. And sometimes I don't even know what to do with the dead bodies. That's how many there are. He said it was one of the most horrible experiences he's ever had, even though he's lived in Haiti and seen things like hurricanes and political instability. But this one just it tops it all off.
Well, yeah, when you look, I went on and saw as much footage as I can of the aftermath of the earthquake, and you're right when you say, at least initially, there were, I mean, it's rather gruesome, but there were just bodies everywhere, bodies that had been trapped under tons and tons of concrete slab that you couldn't get to even if you had all the equipment right there. Is that what they're saying?
Yes, exactly.
So what, now do you have family that is still, they're still in Haiti, or have they come out, or what are they saying?
Yeah, most of my family is still there, and the ones that are here are only here for a couple months. They will be going back.
All right, and what's the greatest need that they have in Haiti right now? What are they noticing most?
Potable water and food. Potable water and food. Shelter, well, now shelter, but before the hurricane season hits, they're going to need something better than tents to sleep in. They're going to need something more solid, something that's hurricane-proof.
Wow. That's incredible. Al's here. Al, you have the question?
Yeah. In terms of communication in Haiti, were you able to? How long did it take for you to contact family members over there, or people that you know in the country?
Hello, I can't hear.
He was saying, after the initial earthquake on the 12th, how long did it take for you to get in contact with your family and know that they were okay?
A week. About a week.
Wow, I mean, I can't imagine a week, waiting a week to find out if your loved ones are still alive or not. It must have been very traumatic and must have been a crazy experience for you.
Yeah, it was highly dramatic and very overwhelming because people were asking me questions, and I was not really myself until I knew that my family was okay. But even then, I lost a lot of friends. The experience is so overwhelming. People that I grew up with and people that we're still looking for today.
Wow. When it took a couple days for them to get in touch with you, did they call you on the phone? Did you receive a text message? What was a?
An email at first, because internet was the most accessible thing at the moment. But afterwards, because I kept on calling and I couldn't get in at all. I couldn't get through. It was saying due to the earthquake in this area, the lines are down. And finally, after the email, when I knew my parents were okay, and then all of a sudden I started worrying. What about my friends? What about their parents? It was just a very overwhelming experience.
With your family that's there, what have they said that the relief efforts that have been? When we see them on TV, we see the military, we see these big transport planes moving in and so forth. Have they experienced it, or is it not as overwhelming as it appears on TV as far as the relief effort?
Well, the thing with the relief effort is that they don't get to every area. It's kind of like they focus in one area. When you see it on TV, it's like, okay, well, Port-au-Prince or some like downtown Port-au-Prince, they're getting this kind of effort. But there's so many other little places that people don't think are affected by the earthquake that are, and that they're not getting the help that they need, because it's really hard to get the food and the potable water everywhere in Port-au-Prince and even outside of Port-au-Prince.
Now, your family, are they in Port-au-Prince, or where are they located in the country?
My family is in Pétionville. It's in Port-au-Prince, but it's not in the heart of Port-au-Prince, but it's one of the areas that was really affected.
Wow. I almost hate to ask, but there were relatives and friends and family that you say are still missing. Is that?
I have friends that were still we're waiting on some kind of news from them, and by now we still have hope. But some days it's worse than others. I've lost a couple friends. I have a couple friends that lost their parents, and when you're very close to somebody, their parents are like your parents.
Yeah.
And so it's been very hard. It's a very hard process, and it takes a lot of time to grasp exactly what's going on.
Now,
Al has a question.
In terms of the relief efforts, I know you just talked about it, and let me just touch back on that for a second. Is there actually a functioning government there in Haiti right now, establishing some type of order so that the distribution of relief supplies can get out to the people?
Can you repeat that?
His question was, is there a functioning government there right now in Haiti, so the relief efforts that they can get out to the people, or what's the security and functioning of the government like right now?
Well, the Haitian government has been not really stable for a couple of years, even when they've been changing from government to government. The thing right now is that many international organizations don't want to come and make it seem that they're taking over kind of the occupation thing, so they want some kind of Haitian leadership ahead of this operation. Right now, because a lot of NGOs are taking, a lot of NGOs are down there, so they're doing this stuff themselves. For example, like Doctors Without Borders are going around doing as much as they can. They're setting up clinics. The relief efforts are you can tell that there are some people down there. Government-wise, right now, the Haitian government is just, they were trying to get themselves together before the earthquake hit. So imagine after the situation. So there's a lot of different forces from different countries trying to get everything together to help these organizations give out the help as best as they can.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, when I was looking at some of the footage, even on 60 Minutes, they take this lady was walking the journalist down the street, and they said this was our IRS building, this was our Department of Justice, this was our 100-year-old cathedral here on the corner, and it's just a pile of rubble. This was the 4-star hotel. What was it? The Montana Hotel, I think it was?
Montana Hotel, yeah.
Completely gone. The Ministry of Justice, completely gone. I mean,
the National Palace.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, every time I see these pictures, I can't believe because I was just there, and I just saw these things, and all of a sudden they're gone.
So what are the plans for for you personally and for your family? Are they going to stay? Is there any hope of immigrating here, or what's the plan?
My family are patriots. There's no way they would ever leave. My father's, he's not really Haiti. There's no way. He's trying to do his best to be able to help others and help himself stay there. Here in the United States, I mean, I had plans to return home. They're just definitely expedited, definitely earlier than I thought. I would go back home. I want to do undergrad, then grad school, and then maybe a PhD. But right now, I think it's undergrad, grad school, and then home, just so I can start.
Yeah, I mean, one of the doctors that was there. They said Haitians can climb up out of hell. That's what he said. They have the indomitable spirit.
We have a strong spirit. For example, there 3 days last week was supposed to be our national carnival that we have every year, and it was 3 days of prayer. I mean, people were from 6 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon were praying on their knees, and it shows you that Asian people have a lot of faith, and we've been through so much, and I know that we're going to get out of this one.
Wow, that is incredible. Just in closing, what were your parents doing, or your family members, at the moment of the earthquake? What were their stories as far as that was?
They were at work. They were at work, and when it hit, I mean, automatically they start thinking about other people. Because when you're safe, you start wondering where so and so is, and so that's where my father was. Wondering about where my brother was. Wondering about where his siblings were, and stuff. It was like they were all at the moment that they were safe at work and stuff like that. They started worrying about other people.
Wow. Well, listen.
Get in touch with them.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I think you should get extra credit for this. So you tell Professor Ivan Alsamy that you should get an A in the class.
I already have one. I had it.
Oh, you already have an A. All right. Well, you should get extra credit or something. But really appreciate very much you coming on and taking the time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was
We're gonna have there's another. If I can figure out this. There's another gentleman that's going to be calling in that was in Port-au-Prince. Okay. I don't know, do we have his picture up there? We're trying to get it up.
We'll get it up in a little while.
But he was actually in Port-au-Prince when the earthquake hit, and he's got a real story to tell, too. But that's the one thing, as I was looking into it, the Haitian people have this, I mean, you could hear it just how she was talking. No, we're not leaving. We're going to rebuild, and we're going to, overcome.
I couldn't believe when I saw them. Some of the pictures were just outrageous that they showed on TV of just, hundreds of thousands of bodies. I mean, you can't even imagine that in this country. But then in the next frame, you'll see them just wanting to rise up and keep on going, even though there's all this destruction around them, so it was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, they had there was one guy that a barber shop, collapsed, but the guy put his barber chair out in the street and
kept on going.
He had his his tools that he uses to cut the hair, and he had it hooked up to a car battery, and he just kept going. It was very impressive. Okay, now you're collecting. I know they had a slide up there. You're collecting donations, or there's a place that people can go, or a place that people can donate?
Well, we're not exactly. We're collecting items. Okay. So basically, we're looking for things like soap, toothbrushes. Yeah, there it is on the screen.
Okay.
Shampoos, razors, toothpastes, and we're calling them, personal care packs.
Yeah.
So that we're going to get, hopefully, by the end of May, 400, 500, maybe 1,000. Who knows how many we can get.
And if they want to take it to 10 Crosby Street in Danbury?
They can deliver it at 10 Crosby Street. That's the We Race building. And we're just going to be, every Friday we make these packs, and we pack them up into boxes, and we're just going to be storing them until such time as we can find somebody to help us actually figure out a way to ship them over there. But I guess some of the problem is not really in the shipping. It's in the, once it gets there,
distribution. The
distribution and getting it to the people that really need it, who are maybe far away from Port-au-Prince.
Yeah, right. I know they had one thing when something like this happens, an earthquake, a tsunami, or some terrible tragedy like this. The initial influx of donation and attention and support is sort of overwhelming. But then a month in, 6 months in, I mean, Haiti's going to be rebuilding for decades
know.
after this.
Because it
Absolutely.
starts to wane, you
Yeah.
know, as people forget, and it becomes not in the main focus of, you know, the news anymore, but it's
Yeah.
still a problem.
I actually heard there were some complaints about the only thing you're hearing about Haiti right now is these 10 missionaries that were arrested
Right.
for trying to help the orphan children, which is a bit of a messy situation at best. But I guess it's a valid story, but really people are still suffering. They said upwards of 300,000 people are homeless just in Port-au-Prince. 3.5 million people have been affected. They're estimating now 230,000 dead in that town. I mean, if you ran the numbers compared to the total population of Haiti, you know, that percentage dying, it's just...
I know, you
it's
can't even
overwhelming.
imagine.
Yeah.
They actually, I was listening to the CBS 880 news this morning,
Yeah.
and they had a reporter, this woman, Pamela Falk, and she was actually saying that the biggest problems that they're having right now are the shelter, because the rainy season is going to start.
Oh, man.
And because they don't have regular shelters, they only have tarps and no tents with dirt floors, that this is going to be the next major problem. And sanitation is also, she said, a big issue. And getting pain relievers to the people.
I can't imagine the amount of illnesses that will be a result of, you know, sanitary conditions, unsanitary conditions, and the water. So,
imagine.
yeah, it's overwhelming.
I mean, there's so many different companies there that are helping, but I guess, you know, because of the logistical problems, they can't get everything to the right people.
It's one of the, it's a problem when you have a country that's basically annihilated,
I know.
and you don't really have a government. That's why I was bringing up the problem with not having a functioning government, because you got to have some type of order to get stuff distributed around the country. And, you know, in my opinion, I would hope the UN would go in there with a peacekeeping force and just establish some order immediately to say, look, you know, there is no government here. We got a situation we got to take care of it. Let's just make it happen. Unfortunately, that really isn't happening right now. But
Isn't it to a certain extent? I mean, the United States Army, the Navy's there, the Air Force is running the airport. I mean...
yeah, but you know, you might get into a problem where it's like, you know, hey, are they trying to take over our country or something like that? That's why I think a UN peace force should just go in there, just, you know, who are used to dealing with disasters on this type of scale. Just go in there, jump in there, take care of the situation, and just, you know, establish some order right there before chaos ensues.
I thought they were there, though.
We'll put you on just one second.
Because they did show some. Recently, I saw some photographs there where everybody was in front of, I guess, the building that used to be considered their government buildings.
Well, I see a lot of images of, you know, a distribution truck will come. There's a whole mob of people coming, and they're like, hey, we're out of here. That's
Right.
not good.
Right.
You
No,
know.
what this woman was saying, this Pamela Falk was saying, that they actually need warehouses, not in the main part of Port-au-Prince, but in other areas, so that they can warehouse the medical supplies, pain relievers, food, and everything, toiletries, and then have somebody there who's manning it so that they can distribute, you know, in a way that's equitable, so everybody can have supplies and things they need.
Right, right.
On the air now, we have Leo. How do you pronounce your last name?
O'Date.
O'Date. Leo O'Date. And again, you know Ivan Alsmi, and are you at Howard University, or how do you know Ivan?
Ivan and I, we met way back. We were members of an organization back in the days called Watch, you know, which is, you know, a Haitian organization.
Excellent. Now, you were actually in Port-au-Prince on January 12th when the earthquake happened. Is that true?
That's right. That's true.
What did you see? What was your experience?
Actually, I was, you know, we were at a house, and then, you know, all of a sudden, I was just taking a nap, and then I was awakened by the noise, and then a friend of mine just woke me up and says, "We need to evacuate. There's an earthquake," and you know, the house was just shaking, boom, 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 you know, for about 8 seconds. And, you know, and we ran to the door, and when we got to the door was jammed. I had to kick the door open because the frame, you know, the foundation of the house cracked. So the frame got bent a little, so, you know, I had to kick the door out and then finally ran outside. And then, as I said, I was taking a nap, and I was in my underwear and T-shirts, and I ran out just like that, you know?
Wow.
And that's the pretty much how things happen down there, you know?
So what?
It's a relatively short time.
So the earthquake itself, the actual shaking of the ground and everything, was approximately 8 seconds.
Go down there.
Yeah, you know.
And by the way, as you're talking, we're rolling some pictures of the aftermath. We have about a 15-picture loop, so we're seeing buildings crushed and everything. So just walk us through what that was like, what you saw when you finally kicked down the door to get out of the building you were in.
Yeah, when I kicked down the door and you know, I ran outside, and I see a lot of dust outside, you know, meaning that buildings that have collapsed. Right next door to our building, there was another building, there was another house that just collapsed, you know, and obviously there were people there, and, you know, a lady and a child didn't make it, you know, I mean, she was breastfeeding the baby, so they didn't make it, so her family was screaming, you know, was just screaming out there, and you know, and then you hear everyone is looking for people. Everyone is like just chaos. People running all different directions, looking for their family members, looking for friends, just wondering what's happening, you know, to what's going on. And it was really, really utter confusion. Everyone was confused. I was confused myself because I thought this was something that was happening just local to where I was. And I thought maybe, you know, maybe the house foundation something was wrong. But, you know, quickly I realized that this was a lot bigger than, you know, just in my neighborhood or just the house that I was in. And I walked to the main street, you know, and then I've seen a lot of people walking back and forth. And I asked you know, some of the people, I said, well, where are you people coming from? They said, well, they're coming from, you know, downtown. And, you know, the first thing they said to me was, the White House is completely demolished. And I'm like, are you serious?
I mean, just for our viewers, make a comparison to what that would be like in America. When you say the Haitian White House is destroyed, what would that be comparable to?
It's like the Pentagon is just being, you know, demolished or wiped out, you know. It's the White House. It's like everything, it's the focal point of Haiti, you know, it's the White House, you know. And at a distance that I can say probably from downtown Silver Spring to Wheaton, you know, I would say that distance. So it was really, you know.
So the people are streaming out of downtown Port-au-Prince at that point, you were saying?
Yeah, people were, you know, streaming out of, you know, away from downtown Port-au-Prince. Essentially, you know, downtown Port-au-Prince is the main commercial area. So people who were there when the earthquake struck, so they were going home or going to wherever they lived. You know, going back home to, you know, check up on their families, you know, and yeah, it's just horrible.
So what do you do? I mean, it seems like you turn left, you turn right, you look north, south. There's just a chaotic crisis situations everywhere you turn. What did you do? What did you start digging through rubble? What were the first things you did the first 2 hours after the earthquake?
Well, fortunately for us, the house that we were in, the foundation cracked. So everything, I mean, you can see the cracks all over the walls. So, you know, we heard a lot of people screaming, but, you know, the aftershock was still going on because you can still feel, every now and then you feel a little bit of shake, you know, under you. You can feel it and you can hear it too. And people were still in a panic mode, not knowing what to do, not knowing whether this is, you know, whether there's going to be another big one or what else, you know, what else was coming. So people were afraid of going to the house where, you know, the house that collapsed right next door to ours, and trying to help rescue the lady, you know, and the baby, because, you know, there was no equipment, you know, no one had any you know, anything, any shovels. You know, people were using their bare hands and trying to, you know, move the bricks and the debris. But it's just a lot of work. It was just a lot of work. There's a lot of concrete. You know, the house, you know, as I said, the house just, you know, leveled, but it's tilted. You know, people were afraid to even go near the house to try to rescue anyone.
So how many days were you there after the earthquake, and what did you see as the crisis of the aftermath of the earthquake sort of unfolded?
Well, the incident happened on Tuesday, and then you know, Wednesday morning, my first instinct was to go and check up on my you know, my aunt, my grandfather's sister, who was down there, which I was with her, you know, prior to the incident, you know, around noontime on Tuesday. So I said, well, I need to go and check up on her and see how she's doing. And mind you, the next day, you know, the whole city, you know, came to a screeching halt because, you know, there were no taxis around. There were very few. You know, there were very few because everyone was looking for their loved ones, so there were very few. So the only way to get from point A to point B is either you were to walk or you were to use a motorcycle.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of motorcycle taxis, and then, you know, those were your best bet to get from point A to point B. So initially, we went on to check up on my aunt. And then on the way there, you know, we started to see the devastation, you know, as we took the main road to the airport there. And, you know, it was just horrible, horrible. There were bodies lined up in the streets. I mean, you know, some places you've seen like 4, 5, 6 people right next to one another. So literally it's the whole family, you know. And these are people who were, you know, neighbors who knew that, you know, there's some people who lived right there in this house, and this house collapsed. They went in to check up on them, and then, you know, obviously they, you know, they dragged them out and they put them right in front of the, you know, their homes, you know, right on the sidewalk.
So that was actually an issue early on, was just the removal of the dead bodies became an issue.
Oh, yeah, because initially people didn't know what to do. I mean, the bodies that, you know, the building where we, you know, the house where I stayed, the lady and the baby, their bodies stayed there till the next day.
Wow.
You know, there was no one came, you know, so we didn't know what to do. I mean, obviously there was no, we couldn't make any, you know, we made several, I mean, the lady who owns the house, she made several attempts to see if she can have, if she can get a coffin, you know, to, you know, trying to make arrangements, but that didn't, you know, that didn't work out because, you know, there were just so many people who needed one, so it was just impossible to find one.
Wow. So this happened on, it was Tuesday, January 12th? Is that?
Yeah.
Correct. So then how long were you actually in Haiti? When did you return to the United States?
I returned the Friday, which was the 15th.
Wow.
You know, and I said to myself, well, let me just go by the airport to see, you know, what type of arrangements or any word on when there'll be a first flight leaving Haiti. So when I got there, which was around, you know, 8 o'clock, and my scheduled flight was for that day anyway.
Right.
So I said, well, let me just go there and see what's going on. So when I got there, there was, you know, a airport personnel who says that the U.S. Embassy is going to send the representatives to discuss any Americans who wish to evacuate Haiti. They will assist them. So once I heard that, I said, well, I'm going to stay put here, you know?
Yeah.
Stay here until I hear what's going on.
Right.
So I stayed there, and then there were 2 people with me, and I said, well, can you people grab my bags? Because, you know, I'm not going to leave my spot in this line that I'm in, because if I go, by the time I come back, I don't know how many people's going to be there.
Right, right.
There were lots of people. There were people pushing, you know, and, you know. But, you know, as I say, I got to the airport around 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't leave Haiti till 6 p.m. in the evening.
Wow.
And, you know, throughout the day as I was there, there were lots of military flights who were leaving Haiti with people. But these were people who were there before I was. And then, obviously, people with medical emergencies, you know, of course, they had priority over, you know, regular folks. I mean, women with children, you know, people were injured. So these were the ones who were, evacuated first.
Wow. Well, we have a group that's with us tonight on the set. Mara is with the Western Connecticut Regional Adult Continuing Education Program, and they've done a lot of good things just locally with some of the rescue shelters and food pantries and so forth, and they've sort of geared up with some relief for Haiti. So, Mara, you had a question?
I did. I just wanted to know, when does the rainy season start in Haiti?
Actually, I'm not sure myself, but I heard that it started to rain a couple of nights ago, and then it's been, I think, maybe 2 to 3 nights that have rained. So you can imagine how devastating, how much of an impact the rain is going to affect everyone, because literally you cannot sleep inside your house if your house is still intact, and and then you have to be outside, and a lot of people do not have tents, So,
I know,
that's going to be a
imagine.
big problem.
Go ahead, ask her.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it's going to be if you're living in a, less than a tent with a dirt floor, and the rainy season comes on. How are those people going to survive?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's probably it's very critical that that at least the Haitian government should try to provide assistance in trying to build some quick homes, at least for people to to be sheltered, or at least trying to move people away from from the devastated area, such as Port-au-Prince. Help people evacuate Port-au-Prince in the process of trying to clean up, and then hopefully the rebuilding process can begin, because you have hurricane season, which is probably around the corner, less than a year. So when that gets here, I mean, what are people going to do?
What I mean, if the average Danbury citizen, Connecticut resident is watching this, what is the best thing that they could do to help in Haiti now, as near as you can tell?
Well, I think medical equipment is, medical supplies. Those are critical, because people with injuries, they have to be cleaned, have to be rebandaged, and that's important. Antibiotics, formula for infants, and food. I mean, it has gotten so expensive for people to buy food. I mean, I've seen a almost 40% increase over, since I was there, since the incident happened, over buying a plate of rice with beans, and then a little bit of chicken, and literally before that you were paying like maybe $5, but it jumped up to $7 or $8,
For just a plate of rice and beans and a little bit of chicken.
Exactly.
Wow. All right, now what are your plans? You have extended family in Haiti. Are you planning to move back there, to stay here? Is your family planning to move here? What are your plans?
Well, I mean, I've been here since 1976, so it's been a long time. So I mean, I visit the island every now and then, but I mean, what I would like to see is that from this point forward, that Haiti can get to the business of rebuilding their economy, because in light of the devastation happened, but had people had means and resources, had the homes were built a lot better than they were, perhaps the total death would have been a lot less.
Yeah, we were looking at some numbers. There was an earthquake, the same magnitude, 7.0 earthquake in San Francisco in 1989. You'll remember there was a World Series baseball game going on if you were watching. And the same magnitude, comparable density of population, and there were 63 casualties. And in Haiti, I guess the number is now upwards of 230,000.
They need better construction codes, and they have to adhere to those codes very strictly so that they're not violated. And you need to, you need to have in place, a process so that, when people are building homes, that, whatever the cement blocks that you're buying, you have to you need to make sure that this is a quality block, not just something that's just made with 10% of cement.
Yeah.
You need to have a certain amount of mixture of cement so that you have a block that can withstand, that you can build a house that is sturdy with.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the worst of all worlds, because you have these building materials that are substandard that certainly won't withstand the shaking of an earthquake, but they're still incredibly heavy. And the force of that and the devastation it brought down was just a perfect storm of horror, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Al had some. We're joined here by Al Robinson. He has a blog in Danbury and around the nation, Hat City blog. Go ahead, Al.
One quick question. For, the amount of devastation and destruction in Haiti is something that a lot of people in this country just can't comprehend. So let me start with some basic questions. Can you, in terms of the size of Port-au-Prince, can you name a city in the United States that's about the equivalent in terms of land area to Port-au-Prince?
I'm not sure I can answer that,
okay.
But all I can say is that from what I heard back there, Port-au-Prince had anywhere from 2.5 million people living there. I've heard some figures as far as 3 million. So, it's a very dense, densely populated area. So, I mean, that accounts for the, the increase of deaths in the city, because a lot of people are so close to one another, and a lot of the places are congested.
Right. If there's one thing, for people who don't know anything about Haiti, and especially not necessarily Haiti, but the Haitian people, if there's one thing you can tell people in this country about the Haitian people, what would it be?
I think it's the resilience. Despite the the horrible conditions, even prior to the earthquake itself, and you feel a sense of people are very hopeful. They're very hopeful, and they're very resilient. That they know that despite everything, that that they will make it. Even though they have little to nothing, but still have the determination. The will to make it, and that's incredible. And as I've seen throughout, immediately thereafter, you feel a sense of camaraderie that exists between everyone. Just like people were, bonding together. Because we knew that we were all in this together. So you felt a sense of that. So I would hope that this would continue to the point where that spirit, can help in the rebuilding process. So that all the Haitians can see that, look, we're all in this together. So with that spirit, that can really uplift Haiti.
Great.
Well, listen, Leo, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. This is kind of a eyewitness to just an incredible event. I appreciate you sharing everything that you saw, and thank you for taking the time.
Yes, you're welcome.
Amara has one last question. Go ahead.
Leo, where do you think the greatest needs would be, areas outside of Port-au-Prince?
Just hang in there. Okay.
Outside of Port-au-Prince, I think some of the outskirts cities, around Port-au-Prince, naturally are getting influx with a lot of people moving away from Port-au-Prince right now. So these cities, would have to have, means to accommodate, the influx of people that are just coming into the surrounding cities. And, when you have a city, outside of Port-au-Prince, growing by, 50,000, just like that, I mean, you can feel the impact, because when you go to buy, groceries at a open market, naturally there are a lot more people there to buy. So, so these are the issues that I'm concerned as to the surrounding cities. How are they going to be impacted? Because of all the resources that they do have. Now they're going to have to share all those resources with everyone else who's coming. And I hope that it doesn't raise the prices of goods, because it's going to be very hard for people to afford, things.
Could you actually name some of those cities?
I think Gonaïves is a close city, and also Fond-des-Blancs, Miragouane, Akaye. I mean, certain places, and Montrouge, which those cities are about an hour away from Port-au-Prince.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again very much for coming on, and we're going to do what we can to try and help. I really appreciate you sharing your story.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to have a call, too. Ivan, you there? Hello? Okay. On the line right now is Ivan. Ivan's the founder of Ideas at Work and Beyond. He's originally from Haiti, has extensive family there. And I know, Ivan, as soon as I saw this, I called you right away, and I got your voicemail back saying that you hadn't heard from your sister initially, but what was your experience regarding the earthquake?
Well, let me first say hello. Now, I don't know who's in the studio with you.
We have Mara here from Western Connecticut Regional Adult Continuing Education, and Odelia Ritter, who is one of her students, and this gentleman named Al Robinson, who's constantly bothering local politicians.
Hi, Ivan.
Award-winning blog. So it's quite a rogues gallery here tonight.
First of all, thank you very much for doing the show on Haiti, and I really admire the work that you guys are doing in Danbury. Thank you very much, and Al knows I still read his blog every day.
Yeah, I check
and every now and then I'll
you popping on all the time
based on what Al is saying. So I just wanted to thank you, and Ms. Maya, and thank you very much for the work that you're doing now and trying to help Haiti, and I appreciate it, and keep up the good work with the students.
You're welcome, and I will. We are.
Yeah. Yes.
By the way, that student that called in, she needs an A. I think she's doing great.
Did she tell you she was one of my students?
Well, I got it out of her. I asked her a lot of questions. I asked her how you taught, if you were a tough grader, and, the whole thing.
Oh. Well, thank you. But I wanted to say that when I first heard about the the earthquake, I was in a daze. I was in a daze from that Tuesday to Friday, when I actually heard from my sister, because my sister is actually, she was living in Port-au-Prince, and I didn't know what to think, what to say, and I caught myself watching the news and just getting extremely upset, because I did not know if my sister was actually one of the people under the buildings. And so it was, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's almost like I want to hear from my sister, but at the same time I don't want to hear from her because I don't want to hear the bad news.
Right.
But when I finally did hear that she was okay, that's when I became myself again. Yeah.
What are you hearing that's going on now in Haiti? What are some of the ongoing issues that if people here that want to help and want to send in their donations or even bring donations by to 10 Crosby Street in Danbury, what are some of the issues that are unfolding now? I mean, we're a month or so into this tragedy.
Well, put it this way. This is going to be raining season in Haiti. So the people who are currently in Port-au-Prince have to move to a different part of the country. And some of these people, the government actually said that they will move them by force if they don't want to go anywhere else.
Wow.
And then I'm on the radio every Saturday night, this Haitian radio program in D.C. So we are talking about the rebuilding process right now. And I don't know if you heard, but Hillary Clinton actually gave the president of Haiti the rebuilding plan. And I find it a slap in the face. It's almost like colonial again, all over again. And yes, America wants to help, the world wants to help, which is good. However, I feel that Haitians need to be part of the rebuilding process. You just don't tell them how they should rebuild, but at least have a dialogue with the people. And I know there are certain things that actually need to be done, but the voices of the people are not being heard and are not being sought in the rebuilding process. And that, I get extremely upset. And also, Bill Clinton is currently supposedly like the head of the rebuilding initiative in Haiti. And what I get upset at, and some people might agree with me or not, is the fact that Bill Clinton was president of the United States for 8 years. And under the administration of Bill Clinton, nothing was done to help.
Ivan, we're coming up on a hard break. You know how this works. You're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
You're just getting warmed up. Did George Bush help at all? No, don't even get started with that. Don't even get started. Ivan, thanks for coming on, and thanks to for getting those other two guests as well. That was just riveting stuff. It was really great. So thanks a lot. Thanks for starting this whole show. You're the man. Al, thanks for coming in. Mara, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Odelia Ritter, thank you very much. Appreciate you doing what you're doing. And again, if you have donations, bring them down to 10 Crosby Street in Danbury. More on this organization, but by all means, your church, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, let's try and help Haiti. Don't forget, just because it doesn't lead the news, remember Haiti. Thanks for joining us. Next week, I have no idea what we're going to do, but you know it's going to be interesting. There might be pictures of my knee. You never can tell. Join us next week on Ideas at Work and Beyond. Good night.